And that's what it should be at the end of the day. It's just professional wrestling. Our goal isn't to only just normalize it, but kind of just be the forefront. We want those little girls and little boys to be inspired. I want some little girl to see in March for Fountain City Pro. I want some little girl to see Stormy cold cock SK Bishop from the premiere right in his face, and then I want her to think that she can do that too. That's exactly what I want.
We bring the heart to the heartland, where the souls collide, streets expand, it's not ours to set high. We're bumping chops and running roads in the world of pro wrestling, where the weak will show. From the top row to the depths below, the warriors in the ring with nowhere to go. Blood, sweat, and tears, it's a battle of the wills. We bring the heart to the heartland, heart to the heartland. Turn the volume up, they can hear from hell. Everyone's ready, so let's ring the bell. Ding, 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 let's start the clock. HVW, yeah, we're bumping chops.
Welcome back to HCW's Bumping Chops, where the chops hurt and the words mean nothing. I'm your host, Billy Simmons, co-owner of Heartland Championship Wrestling. Joining alongside of me is my co-host and good friend, Bobby Casey.
What's up, everyone? Thanks again for joining us for Bumping Chops, episode 13, believe it or not.
Ooh.
Unfortunately, it is our last one of the year.
And that's okay.
And Billy would never have thought that we'd be this far down the road, but it is episode 13. Bumping Chops is proudly presented to you by the Chubby Buddy Studio. And to get notified of all future episodes, make sure you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, Chubby Buddy Studio, and then also follow us on all social media.
And to get more of the latest information about Heartland Championship Wrestling, follow us at HCW Live 23 on all social platforms. That is HCW Live 23.
Today, on this episode, we're going to be unpacking two HCW shows, one of which I was at, one of which I was not. First one is the Red Kettle Rumble, and the second one was Wreck the Halls, right?
Correct.
In Leavenworth.
Yes, sir.
So we'll be unpacking those later on down in the episode. So don't leave. It's going to be a lot of fun to unpack those, especially what happened at the Red Kettle Rumble. So you don't want to miss that. Also, we've got to do this with a guest. We've got
Of course. We've been on money with the guest for every show since I decided, you know what? This show needs a guest.
every episode.
Every episode.
And until then, it'll just be us if he ever runs out. But his black book's like the thickness of a Merriam dictionary. Would you agree?
I mean, we got some people. We got some people.
Well, our guest today has cast a spotlight. Would you agree?
Ooh, cast a big spotlight.
But he's also the other half of the tag team that's bringing relationships closer together, one match at a time.
Who would that be, Bobby?
We'll make some noise for the spotlight. Logan Knight.
What's up, Logan?
What's up, guys? That was very, very fun intro.
That was riffed right there. That was all riffed. We literally talked for 10 minutes before you got on.
That's true. That's true. Buddy, how you been? How's your day going?
It's going pretty good. It's almost the end of the week. I got two bookings this weekend in the year, so at least I get the last weekend of the year off, but got to finish strong.
Did you say like a month and a half ago that you were going to try to lighten your load at the end of the year?
Well, I did. I mean, I said that at the tail end of my injury that I wasn't going to take on any more new bookings, and I did. I didn't take on any new bookings. I just so happened to have 26 bookings left when I said that. So, and that's not an exaggeration.
Listen,
it was a hard 26.
That's fantastic. It means you're out there, you're putting in work, not only for Heartland Championship Wrestling, but for companies all over the country.
A lot of traveling. I didn't think that I was going to travel as much as I did this year. I knew I was going to travel more than I did last year, just because, I mean, that's the ladder of success. You should be wanting to do, bigger and larger things every year in wrestling. But I didn't expect to do it so much, but a large part of that was thanks to Sam, getting to ride with him at Fuego to GCW. I got to go cross country, so that was definitely a hell of an experience.
Yeah, for sure. Sam and Fuego, fantastic talent, along with you yourself. So those car rides leading to anything for you?
Yeah, actually, I mean, I was hoping it was going to lead to a GCW booking because I went to like 8 different GCW shows over the summer to help out. It was a lot of fun, and I learned stuff regardless. So I, like at the end of the day, the match isn't always the most important thing you get from that kind of thing. I I got the attention of a promoter in Colorado that now books me and Stormy, and he pays us very well and gives us some pretty good matches, and we have a lot of fun there. Even though the last show that happened, we had to miss the Wichita show for HCW, and all we could keep yelling at each other in the car was "FOMO Logan, FOMO Sydney, FOMO Logan, FOMO Sydney."
And that's all right. Getting him out there is the big thing. I think me, myself, and then our friends know, fans, not friends, friends too, but they know that only friends will be around for HCW. So it never bothers me when y'all are out making new connections, doing different stuff, just advancing y'all's career, and that's the biggest thing I can hope for any of my people.
Yeah, and that's what I like about you, Billy. You're always just such a cool guy. Where do you get it from? It's definitely not Daniel.
I think it was beaten into me when I was little.
Who beat you up?
My dad.
They beat the cool in
Okay,
the.
so nobody I know that I ever met. So I was like, who the hell beat you up? But so much so, you also are trying to get booked for Vegas come New Year, right? Is that right?
Yeah, just and Mania Week. I'm trying to get booked with Stormy and I. I mean, we'll take singles bookings if we can get them. It's just I think we both have a better chance if we do it together. We're going with Sam and a few others, and so I'm hoping that maybe something will land in our laps in Mania Week. But I'm also going to try and contact a few places. I know we have 2 bookings, I think, so far. So at least that's better than none. Showing up with empty change, no pockets. I'm excited. I've never been to a WrestleMania. The first pay-per-view I ever went to was Elimination Chamber in 2019, and then I went to SummerSlam with Sam this most previous summer in Cleveland. So I'm very much looking forward to finally getting to go to WrestleMania. SummerSlam's in the Big 4, right?
Yeah, 100%.
I only have Royal Rumble left to cross over, I think.
Yeah, so Rumble, Mania, SummerSlam.
And then Survivor Series.
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't been to Survivor Series. I don't know why I thought it was Elimination Chamber, but that's definitely a bucket list item is to go to all the big WWE PLEs. I mean, if it's as a fan or a performer, I don't really care, but it would be, really cool.
That's fantastic.
And you guys both got to go to WWE this past 2 Mondays ago, right? In Wichita?
Yeah. Me and Stormy were both in Wichita. It was pretty cool. There was a lot of us there. Cappuccino Jones, Mr. WWE ID himself, and Double Stuff were there. It was cool. There wasn't much. There wasn't a whole lot to do for everybody, but Stormy and a few others got to boo the New Day because they're on their big bad guy run right now. Calvin refused. He would not do it. He would not boo the New Day, and I thought that was hysterical. So
that is funny.
Shout out to Calvin for being a real one.
Man, he's got that New Day love. I was there. I was in the crowd. My very good friend from high school, his birthday was the Wednesday before, and his wife got me and him tickets and asked me if I'd go with him, and so we were right at the walkout area, fantastic seats, and I tell you what,
twice.
Wichita booed the crap out of the New Day.
Some would say it's in large part to Stormy Renee, but we'll never go that far,
She's my kid. It was all due to her.
How many times did they show you on the camera on that HCW gear?
Hey, so I was on there maybe a time or two, but our good friends James and Renee was on there a lot, sitting front row.
I saw them
proudly supporting that Heartland Championship Wrestling shirts, which just getting that name out there more loud and proud.
I saw Walter taking a lot of pictures. Every shot of him was him holding his phone up taking pictures.
That doesn't surprise me.
You guys had amazing seats watching the Wyatt Six come out. That was pretty cool.
Bro, it was a good time. Had a lot of fun. WWE is, like I tell everybody, I've been in the wrestling business for a long time, since 2001. But to this day, I am still 100% a fan of professional wrestling and all forms.
Even comedic.
A little bit of comedic now. Like, my crowd loves it, which opened my heart to it a little bit. So,
they absolutely loved it. So, listen to the fans.
I do. I try.
But no, Logan, we usually open up every episode with Today in Wrestling History. All right, so I'm going to hit that up, and then we're going to move on to some questions for you and Billy. So Today in Wrestling History, so this episode is 12/23 of 2024. So back in wrestling history today is 12/23 of 2006. Ring of Honor's, let me bring it up to my eyes, I'm old. Ring of Honor's Final Battle event took place at the Manhattan Center in New York. In the main event, Homicide defeated Bryan Danielson for the ROH World Championship to end the future Daniel Bryan's 15-month reign.
Oh, interesting. You want to know on this day in history that we're recording, Blade captured the first ever UWO Heavyweight Championship.
Well, you should have told me that, and then I would have just put that in there. I mean, you just ruined that. I mean, come on now. We could just led with that. I don't remember that, but I was a fan of Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, Bryan Danielson, before he went to the E, he was very talented, still very talented. Like, his size hurt him a little bit, but he didn't let that hinder him at all, and he showed everybody, kind of like Rey Mysterio, that it didn't matter what size you are, as long as you had the work ethic, the wrestling ability, and the drive, you can get to any place you wanted.
Were you a fan of Daniel Bryan growing up? When did you actually start being a fan of wrestling? If I guess I should start that way.
God, I don't actually have like a conscious memory of not being a fan of professional wrestling, to tell you the truth. Like, I hate to give the run of the mill story, but it really has been since diapers for me. My uncle was living with us at the time, and he had a bunch of just like old tapes, and I don't want to say I saw it live, but the first match I ever remember watching was the WrestleMania Triple Threat TLC between the Hardys, the Dudleys, and Edge and Christian. So
you're
that
young.
is probably I was born in '90. So
I graduated in '99.
I was like 3 when I saw that, maybe 4.
Man,
each episode they get younger, I think.
I feel that way sometimes when I'm bringing a new kid in that's been training for a while, and like gorgeous Gavin Bush, 19 years old.
Dude, the prison is hard to, like, everybody there is 18 coming in.
Oh my.
Telling a grown man what to do, like, that's not good.
No, not at all.
Oh, but no, yeah. Well, hey, why don't we start with asking you, who is the man that we both know as Logan Knight? Because at the very beginning, I'm going to be honest, when I first got in here, I would mix you and Chance up every single time. I was like, all right, so this is not Chance. Let me mark that out.
Yeah.
Because with that hair, you guys rocked the crap out of that hair, and you guys look like twinsies, all right? Let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I've actually sold some merchandise under the ruse that people thought I was Chance. So that's I can't fault you when other people have also made the mistake. So
at least I'll admit it, though, too.
I get it. Yeah. Man, I don't even know where to start.
Here's a better way to think of it. What do you want your fans to think of when they hear the name Logan Knight? We know what we think of when we hear Stone Cold or The Rock. Who do you want your fans to think of when your name's announced coming out of that curtain?
I mean, I myself and everyone else included should think wrestling superstar. It doesn't really matter if it's like WWE or AEW or Ring of Honor or independent. I want to be known as a wrestler. I don't want to be known as Logan Knight, the guy that's trying to be a wrestler, or any of that sort of nonsense. I want to make it concrete. It's hard nowadays trying to tell people about the gimmick. I can give you a character rundown and kind of sort of what I shoot for, but at the end of the day, whether I'm a bad guy or a good guy, I've found myself lately in a position of trying to imagine myself in the scenario I'm in instead of imagining this character that I'm playing in the scenarios that I'm in. And I feel like either way you flip the coin on me being bad or good, it's helped me connect with the audience more because it feels a little more real, regardless of if it's me getting beat up in the corner and I'm a bad guy and I scream like a little girl. I mean, honestly, I might scream like a little girl if you're in the corner chopping the dog piss out of me for 10 seconds straight. everybody reacts to stuff differently, and I think it's important to be yourself through and through. And I'm trying to make sure I manage a sellable gimmick, if that makes sense, a relatable gimmick, something that people can latch onto. And I'm not saying that in a way to like, I'm trying to be fake. It's just, I'm trying to present the most marketable points of myself.
Well, why don't you run down the gimmick to us? Like, what makes up who Logan Knight is?
A lot of things make up what Logan Knight is. I mean, as you can tell from the jerseys in the back, I'm a ginormous basketball fan. So I do gather a lot of inspiration from my gear design, from like NBA uniforms or like colorways from the NBA. The logo on Stormy and I's Only Friends gear, her hip logo is it's the Kansas sunflower wheel logo that's in the flag, and I just we put her initials in there, and then my logo on my hip is actually a church that my mother used to go to in Detroit. It's the St. Cecilia Church, and they have a very neat logo of what I think is like, I want to say it's like a gear of some sorts, because Detroit's all about Motor City and stuff like that. So I like to draw inspirations from little things like that. I'm a huge fan of anime, cartoons, that kind of thing. I'm a nerd at the end of the day, really. I just happen to be into professional wrestling. I think all of us are nerds at the end of the day. You really got to be a nerd to be into this kind of thing. There's tons of things I draw inspiration from. Like my character at first, it was really Ric Flair and Miz inspired, and I'm trying to, put off this Hollywood flamboyant type personality, and I still feel like that's me at the end of the day. I'm like Billy knows I'm a very emotional and outspoken person, so it's me to a T. And when I get to kind of get a direction of where I need to go, emotion or story wise, it helps for me to think about my history with that crowd, how I've been presenting myself, and where I would like to go in the future.
You and Stormy both being what was the word that they both used?
I'm not sure.
No, sensitive. Was it sensitive?
A little sensitive. Yeah. So back when I first met you, you were wearing some horrific gear and in a tag team. And, I first talked to you and your gear was a little bit of a turnoff. And we kind of talked about that a little bit. And I was like, man, like you've got a lot of talent. Like if you just get something that like looks good. And since then, man, you've come out with some fantastic gear. So good job on you, man. Good job.
Hey, did the comment stuck to heart? I'm one of the best looking wrestlers in the Midwest today. So obviously it drilled something into me.
Yeah, I appreciated respecting that. And man, like the minute you got new gear, you're like, Billy, look, I got new stuff. I think it was.
Yeah, I debuted it at your show, too.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, we also see you posting on Facebook like, hey, I got a seat in the car. Whoever wants to go with me here. I got a seat here. I got a seat. Like, what inspired that? Was that trainer down the road, or was that also a part of Billy's something he might have said?
I mean, Billy probably has said it to me and mentioned it to me, and we've talked about it just because, like, I don't know, like I have a pretty level head on my shoulders for not actually like getting trained, so to say. Like I was trained, but very like poorly. No offense to either of my trainers, because they put out some great wrestlers. It's just like my handling was done weird, and so I feel like logistically I should not be a wrestler right now. There's no way I should have came out of any of the situations I was put in and still. I'm not going to say succeed, but be here right now, even just like wrestling and still taking bookings and going to this point. And I think what really made me start doing that is, I mean, I hate to give him credit because I just discredited him, but Drake, like he gives me the nuggets of knowledge, but he also has funny ways of like letting them build up over time. Like he'll say something to me that doesn't actually click until months later, and I'm like, that's fucking useless. And then like months later, I'm like, oh wait,
he has that Yoda way to him. Like I've seen his Facebook posts, and it's like that's some Yoda shit, man. Like it's too early in the morning to read that.
Yeah, so like Drake, I hated when he first came to me about this, but I'm very young in the business. I feel like I just completed my 5th year in June. He came to me earlier in the year and like a bit of the end of last year when I was consistently going to training at UWO. And he essentially asked me to, step up, not just like at the training school, but like step up in general, step up and be the person that he thought I could be, step up and be, the kind of leader that he thinks I could be. And he knows that that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be a leader in the locker rooms I go to. Like, I'm not trying to steal anybody's spot or like throw my weight around or anything like that, but I want to be respected in a way. Not that I think I deserve it, but these places I go to and I'm a regular at, like Heartland or, the companies that wrestle in Texas or Arkansas and Oklahoma, these places I'm regulars at, I would like a little bit of, credit because I'm traveling, I'm putting the miles in, I'm beating the hell out of my body in the gym 5 days a week to build it and get it to where it needs to be. And I think that I'm more into the manner of leading by example. Well, I'm not trying to flex or prove anything to anybody. I am trying to prove something to myself that I can do this, because that's what we're all trying to do at the end of the day, is prove to ourselves that we can do anything in life. And I just want other people to know that it's fucking hard, but we can do it. There's someone right in front of your eyes doing it. There's no reason I should be succeeding in wrestling at all. I come from poverty. I'm still kind of in poverty. I still work a day job to make my bills meet, and I'm still out here traveling coast to coast and, making ends meet where I can, getting gear that looks professional and looks good, getting promo shots that looks professional and looks good, making promos that look like they should be live on TV on Monday, Wednesday, Friday night. And I feel like a lot of people try to put up excuses, and they can either be excuses or they can be hurdles.
When I first saw that promo you shot, I don't know what it was. It was like pretty professional looking. The first thing that came to mind was Ultimate Ninja Warrior, like the promo that, like, if you like do you know what I'm getting at? I was like, dang,
Yes,
Jesus, this guy went all out.
That's funny. Yeah, that's the third time I got to work with that guy. I've done 3 of those style of promos, and he's really great. His name's Corey Alberts Nelson. He lives in Dallas area. He does a lot of work for the Dallas people down there, and he's done a lot of Lance Archer's AEW promos. I want to go down there and do a promo with Stormy, being do a minute or 2 introduction of like, this is Only Friends kind of thing to put out there on social media. But think brother is getting signed soon, so it's going to be hard to do that. I'm going to have to get a lot better with my camera and editing skills soon.
That's good stuff. So let's talk about OnlyFriends. How'd that come about?
That's my favorite story. I love telling it, but I hate that it comes at the expense of another wrestler and someone I'm quite fond of. She's an absolute delight. So basically, Fountain City Pro started up, and I had contacted Chase about wanting to work there, and he said yes. I just don't know what I have for you at the moment. And a couple of weeks go by. Stormy was supposed to wrestle Shia Lynn in the debut show in March of this year. And Shia Lynn ended up tearing her ACL, and she had to be out for, I think it was 9 months. He just recently came back, so it was definitely easily like 8 or 9 months. And Chase goes, well, I mean, do you guys want to tag? And I was like, oh, fuck yeah. We've been, for years now, me and Stormy have been like, what if we had a tag team? That'd be so funny. Like, the classic, like, shooting the shit with your friend, like, what if we did this kind of thing? And we never really thought anything would come of it. We never had a name. We didn't have anything planned. We didn't have moves. We didn't have, like a gimmick. We had no idea. We were just 2 friends talking about it. And once Chase finally came to me about it, I asked Stormy and we talked about it, and she was 100% down. And I think like a day went by before all of this stuff started flooding my brain of like, I blame Drake for this upcoming piece of information too. That's why I'm really good at selling merch. Is Drake Gallows, by the way, the guy that sells a lot of merch. He likes to take whatever is popular and put his own spin on it. And that's what I do with all of my merch too. And so my headspace was in that line of thinking. And I mean, hell, I was going to training at UWO every week. So that kind of explains where all the inspiration came from. Just the lucid thinking and gimmicks and stuff like that. Drake's really free thinking with everything. It's really funny. Me and Stormy, we've always been really, really close, and people have sometimes mistaken it for more than that, but it's never, ever been that. And I currently have a wife, and at the time she was seeing someone else. So we were trying to think of something funny that could play off of that and not kind of like be the typical thing with intergender tag teams, because typically it's people that are dating or a brother sister kind of thing. And we wanted to go against the mold. And I was thinking of names, and I was like, only fans, only friends. It hit when I was trying to just like say things. And I was like, fuck, I might have something there. I pitched it to Sydney, and she thought it was hilarious. And when originally when we pitched it to Chase, we thought it was going to get swatted down just because of how like goofy it sounded. But when we presented it to Chase with like an actual backing of who we are, what we want to accomplish, and like what we're trying to represent and do in pro wrestling, and I think that's what sold it more than anything, is because if people know who the tag team Bussy is, it's intergender tag team of Allie Catch and Effie, and they're really inspirational as far as just like the LGBT community and tag team wrestling in general. And so I think a lot of our inspiration came from them, just because of how flamboyant and goofy they are, and they do a lot of the like flirtatious or sometimes too comedical type of things that Billy might be into, but you know, he's slowly getting into it, just like the rest of the world is.
When he hears that pop, he's like, okay, I'm into this right now.
And I like to kind of think of us as like kind of like the New Day, like an intergender New Day. We're trying to bring the power of friendship and positivity closer together, one match at a time, and we have to prove that by ourselves being best friends. So I'm excited because this is a story that can continue to be told and continue to be told, as with many other tag teams in the past. And if we need to be bad guys, we've got it all figured out. I mean, I don't know if you boys ever watched Pokemon, but Team Rocket is a heel tag team, and they lost every fucking time. And I'm so down to be the Team Rocket of professional wrestling.
Yeah, I never saw Pokemon. Did you?
Yeah, I wasn't really into that, but there's a lot of the wrestlers that are, so I hear different stuff all the time. My little brother has a Pokemon tattoo, so...
He does?
Yeah.
Oh, Daniel.
Just imagine
wait, what?
Imagine the two guys from Home Alone. That's basically...
Oh, that's fantastic.
Two goobers trying to get one up, and it never
Sticky
happened.
Bandits.
Oh, man.
The Sticky Bandits.
Oh, but no, talk about that intergender thing. Like, what's your guys' goal with that? Like, you guys are pretty much the front line with Kansas for sure, and then also Oklahoma, because you had Billy shared with us on an episode that he went down and spoke at one of your, was it like a town hall type thing?
It was a Oklahoma State Athletic Commission meeting. Yeah, so I mean, there is a goal, and there isn't. Me and Stormy want to be looked at as a tag team at the end of the day. We don't want everyone's always going to give it the label of intergender wrestling or intergender tag team, and that's how it's probably going to be marketed forever, and that's how we're going to have to live with it. But I don't like putting that label on it, because I like to look at the women as competitors too. I understand a lot of people don't feel the same way. They want the realism and the weight classes and all that good jazz. There's a story to be told, and it's like I've told many others before. I think personally, if you're 100% against intergender wrestling and you don't want people doing it, I think you're just afraid and scared that you can't tell a different story from the normal professional wrestling setting. I want it to somewhat be normalized, you know, like I feel like it's taboo, and it shouldn't be. And in other parts of the country, it definitely isn't taboo. I mean, there's dozens upon dozens of intergender tag teams, or, you know, all female tag teams that wrestle all men tag teams, that they don't even label it like that. It's just wrestling. And that's what it should be at the end of the day. It's just professional wrestling. Our goal isn't to only just normalize it, but kind of just be the forefront. We want those little girls and little boys to be inspired. I want some little girl to see in March for Fountain City Pro. I want some little girl to see Stormy cold cock SK Bishop from the premiere right in his fucking face, and then I want her to think that she can do that too. That's exactly what I want.
I mean, I think Team Same Name put it best. Theatrical violence. That's what you guys are. The ultimate goal is.
Yeah. And I definitely agree. That was one of our talking points at the Oklahoma State Athletic Commission, and it's that whole situation is amazing. We could do a whole podcast just on that situation.
Definitely could.
We need to save our breath.
So goals. Let's talk about some of your stuff. Let's go HCW in general. So in Leavenworth, you had a match against Kit Reaver for the Out of Luck title. Probably one of the top matches of the night. It was very, very fun, very fun to watch. And Kit Reaver was able to come out victorious, but it didn't. It definitely took a lot of work to get that victory. And did you come up with a new move in that match?
Yeah. So I've come to the conclusion that I can't always be flipping and flying through the air, and it's really fun to hit the OTR, my little springboard blockbuster. I just after I missed it on Warhorse, you saw how rough of a bump I took off that top rope. I kind of decided that it needs to get set up. if I'm gonna go for OTR, it needs to be the perfect opportunity. So I need something else that can get the job done. But Kit, he's a tough bastard. I don't know if he's been dropped on his head a couple times before, but it's like building up resistance like a callus.
Yeah, I think I've smacked him around enough. He's, getting hard-headed.
I did not get to see that match, but I will say that one of my favorite matches that I've gotten to see you in was you and Chance at Arlen for the Independence Championship. That was one of my favorite matches to watch just with you, because I think that the crowd really enjoyed Logan Knight by himself, because they found out really who he was and what he was about.
Yeah, and I've actually had people give me trouble about how I present myself on social media when I'm a bad guy at some of their shows, because they think I'm too relatable of a person. I can't really help that. Like if you relate to me when I'm being a piece of shit, that's on you. But I just want to no, me and Billy went back and forth on this, because he didn't really have like a cold cocked plan of like me being able to join up with Stormy and turn face and all this. And I will say, I think the seeds were planted with my match with Ray when they understood that I could go with some of the top dogs at Heartland. And people were like, okay, all right, like he can hang a little bit. Like, what's this dude about? I had my match with Chance. I wasn't willing to accept the handshake, but I let it simmer and I gave him his props. And I felt like that kind of gave a build up to it. And by the time I had my match with Dutch McLean, it really kind of went over the top. People loved Dutch, but in that match, people started to love Logan Knight, and I could feel it, which was the first time in my career I could confidently say that I felt it in the match. Like I felt it happen in the match, and it wasn't, like a planted or forced kind of situation. Like I felt the crowd go from Dutch, Logan, Dutch, Logan, Dutch. Like it was just like, it was nice. And by the end of the match, we got to do the whole handshake thing. And I felt like I got the cement right there. And when I went to the backstage, I was like, you didn't know, but how'd you fucking know? Like, it said right to Billy's face. I was like, there's no way you could have known that was going to work. And you still did it anyways.
It's I try to put people in places that I think they're going to succeed. And like you said, you're a relatable person, whether you're a bad guy or a good guy, people relate to you, and just giving you opportunities to showcase your athletic ability, your working habits. The crowd's going to appreciate that. And then slowly see that, they can cheer you and you're all right with it. And it just lined up well. And, to Dutch's credit, he, super babyface with HCW, and that match definitely got some back and forth cheers. So that was a credit to you.
I think you won over Team Same Name. Like Jordan over at Team Same Name fell in love with Logan Knight, I think.
Yeah, probably so.
That's good to hear. And to go back to your point of like goals in Heartland, I have ever changing goals all the time. I think one of my biggest goals right now is it's going to be a strange goal. It's not going to be the typical, I want to have a title match kind of thing, or I want to be HCW champion, or I want to be tag team champions with Stormy, even though, trust me and her are literally scraping and clawing to get our first tag titles, because we know not only how meaningful that's going to be for us, but it's going to be super, super meaningful in just the context of intergender wrestling's history here in the Midwest. So I'm looking forward to that chance one day, but I'm not going to rush it. The thing I want most right now is to just be looked at the same way as guys like Chance and Ray are. I want to be respected, and I want to be looked at as one of the top guys. I want to be one of the leaders. You know, I don't want to force my way into that, but I'm gonna carve my way out one way or another.
Nice.
So when you look at not just the intergender thing, but also just wrestling in a whole, like what would you say would be your first, I guess not goal, your first tip to somebody who is trying to get where you are and with the same goals?
Travel, take care of your social media. Those are the two biggest things that I stress to everybody all the time when they ask me for any sort of advice. Is I know it's tiring. I know it's exhausting to be sitting there on social media all day, and you have to see every bit of every person's opinions and comments and bullshit, and doom scroll and sift through all that. Trust me, I get it. I have like 4 social media apps. It's goddamn annoying. I get it. Trust me, I do. But I set a reminder on my phone every day at noon to go and make some sort of post, regardless of if it's just like today I asked what everybody's favorite match they saw in person was this year. And that got some traffic onto my feed. And then I'll probably post like, hey, I need bookings, please. Spare change, that kind of thing. You know, you got to direct the people to your account and to your stuff. I may not be the most followed wrestler, but I have a very large following for some odd reason. So I think it's important for people to do social media. Like that promo you were talking about, I have been on and off sharing it. Like that match happened in May, dude. I've been on and off sharing that shit since like February or March, just because like, regardless of that match happening or not, someone's going to see that video and go, that was badass. Who is this guy? And so I share it like every other week, something like that. It has 13,000 views just on Facebook for me doing that. So
good job.
Yeah, little stuff like that goes a long way. I mean, Sam, God, he wrestles on GCW and he's over like Rover now. But when he was first like getting on TikTok and stuff, he every other like couple of posts where he would post some viral clip, it would hit like 1 million out of nowhere. And it's just you gotta stay consistent. It's always gonna be random stuff. And traveling is the most important part, regardless if it's like you getting with a buddy or having to get in the back seat, get in the passenger seat, get in the trunk, get in someone's suitcase, get to that show somehow.
It goes back to the thing where you're always trying to tell people there's open car seat if someone wants to jump in. And, that's a testament to who you are, because not everyone will, invite younger talent to jump in a car. And so for the fact that you're doing that, I always tell everyone, Bob Evans once told me, he said, leave the wrestling business better than you found it. And I strive all the time to do that. And I think you doing things like that is also doing that.
I try to. I forgot that was even Bob that said that, because that's something I try to live by every day. And so I try to give back in that aspect. But I know it's hard for a lot of guys. Like, trust me, I get it first and foremost. I treat myself more of like a business and a performer than I think most people do. And even at the end of the day, I have to take risks, and it's the pocket I'm not necessarily always like thrilled about, but like I make sure I know my worth and I establish that worth, and it's important to draw that line in the sand as far as your worth and other people's worth and how you would like to be treated. And I understand guys are they're probably in the same situations as me, or there's always going to be someone in a worse situation. Wrestling costs money. Wrestling can also make you money. I have no shame in putting the number out there. I made $5,000 off of wrestling this year. I don't know how much of that went back into my gas tank, probably a solid amount. And I don't know how much of that actually went back into buying my gear, buying Stormy and I's merch, buying my merch. But, it's important to keep track of stuff like that. You got to know what you're getting out of what you're putting into the business, and you have to weigh those options, because, it's hard. Some days I think of myself as only a wrestler. Like I wake up and I'm like, I'm Logan Knight, a professional wrestler. I don't think of myself as Logan Knight, a human being first. And there's other responsibilities in life besides just wrestling, but it's important to kind of make sure that those responsibilities are able to revolve around wrestling, if that makes sense. Like the biggest piece of advice I could give to people younger than me getting into professional wrestling right now is don't get a part-time or full-time job that is not going to allow you to have your weekends off, because then you're never going to be a professional wrestler. I work Monday through Friday just fine, and I'm still making Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday shows all around the country. You can do it. It's hard, very difficult, costs money. But if you're driven and dedicated and you think you have even a fraction of a sliver of a chance, then you got to do it.
Well, you're up for some awards coming up in the new year. Why don't you tell people about kind of like what those awards are and where they can go vote?
Yeah, those award results actually just came out today.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually didn't end up winning any of them, sadly, but understandably so. Dark Sheik won pretty much every award you could for the QWI this year that wasn't like pertaining to being an in-ring performer. Like, she won LGBT Wrestler of the Year. She won Moment, Feud, Match of the Year. She's one of the bookers at Hood Slam, and that got Promotion of the Year. So like they're just doing really, really good stuff out there. And the kind of, online rivalry she had with Val Venis for the longest time, because he's a huge transphobe, was really, I think it just got a lot of people's attention on her and the products that she was putting out. And she's also a huge, huge advocate in the LGBT community, and one of the first, like, really huge independent trans wrestling stars I can think of, besides like Nyla Rose and Sunny Kiss. That'd be like the only other two people I could name that are like huge on the Mount Rushmore for that kind of thing. So I'm not jealous or spiteful in the slightest bit. Like I'm gay 24/7, 365. So like this award's going to be available to me next year and the year after that, and the year after that. I just have to continue to put in the work that I'm doing now, which as tired as I am right now, I'm going to be doing it forever, which is insane to think about.
So who got the tag team of the year?
Tag team of the year was a tag team from Pittsburgh called The Runway. They're a lot like the Fact and Police.
Okay.
That's what I would compare them to. Very, very good guys.
Nice. Yeah, I didn't know if that was like a state thing or if that was like a national thing or what. So
yeah, global. It was global.
Okay.
There was TV performers in the options. Like in Wrestler of the Year, I was up against Abaddon, Effie, Dark Sheik, Anthony Bowens from the Acclaimed, Max the Impaler from NWA. There's a few names up on there.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
At first, I thought that was just state level. I was like, you're naming off names that I've heard. I was like, wait a minute.
Logan, so you've been wrestling now 5 years. You're out there everywhere. So congratulations on that. Keep pushing. You made PWI this year?
I did, dude.
Yeah, that's a great job, man. Look, that's something to be proud of. And then you made the QWPI, right? Did I say that right? QWI, so okay.
I got 464 on the PWI, and then I got 140 on the QWI. I never ranked on the PWI, so that was my debut. And then I debuted at 180 on the QWI last year, so 40 spots up. I was really happy about that. But
is that a ranking system?
Yeah,
it's somewhat.
Yeah, I was
okay.
The QWI is like the same thing as the Pro Wrestling Illustrated list, but it's for queer performers.
Gotcha.
So the PWI was completely unexpected. Like, I know I've been traveling around and putting in the work, and I know a lot of those people follow me. I got a ton of social media attention after being the figurehead for all that, like Oklahoma State Athletic Commission stuff. Me and Nyla Rose got buddy. A couple of people followed me from like big news sources, like all the PWI editors and people follow me, like Fightful, that kind of thing. Sean Ross Sapp. So, like not even a flex. It was just like those people saw my stuff. It was just as simple as that. It's not like I'm doing better than anybody in this specific area, because there's tons of wrestlers in this area that I think should have been on it. I mean, not to keep rubbing the champion up, but Ray Leon's easily the best wrestler in Kansas, so he could have been on that just like I was. It's just for the simple fact that Ray Leon is a Kansas, Oklahoma guy. He's not like a Kansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Texas, fucking Colorado, traveling everywhere under the sun kind of thing, because that guy respects his well-being and his life and has a family. So
yeah,
respect to Ray.
I give him crap all the time, him and Chance. I'm like, guys, if y'all would just get out there some, like if you just
it's not
into some other areas. But they bust their tails. They're talented. I remember when I was training them I couldn't get them out of the wrestling ring. We would be done with training 3 hours in. I done blew them up trying to, I try to make them puke anytime I can. And they'd get done, take a 5-minute break, and was right back in the ring. I'm like, guys, we got to be done. Like it's dark out. It's time to go. And so just a testament to their work ethics. And I appreciate you shouting them out like you do, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they'll learn it with time. I'm not trying like they're both older than me, so this is crazy to talk in retrospect. That's what I was going to get about being uncomfortable with the advice that Drake gave me about being a leader and stepping up. Is he said that to me at the ripe age of like 23, 24, and I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about? I don't like know what I'm doing." But I mean, hey, you push the baby out of the nest, he's gonna die or fly, and I think I'm flying right now so far. The main thing with all the traveling. The best thing I could tell guys is to like stay somewhere for a couple of months and get over at that place for a little bit and then like find a new location. Like everybody always likes to talk about their home promotion or their home base of operations. And, that's changed for me as my career has gone by. Trainee of Drake. So UWO and Empire and OKC were home for a little bit. And then for a little bit, I didn't have a home because I've been traveling so often. But now my home is Heartland. And that's where I try to give the most effort and, my energy and my time, and anywhere else that I go beside that is all me trying to make sure I get an eye on me and, the stuff that I'm doing. Because, for example, I have been wrestling in West Texas for the last 2 years. I just got done being a heavyweight champion for BCW in West Texas. They were running out of Lubbock for a little bit. And it came to a crossroads of, do I want to keep wrestling here? The crowds aren't getting very much larger. I'm getting paid the same thing I was about a year and a half ago. Are there other places that want me? And I'm not going to toot my own horn, but yes. So some places that I wanted to go, if I had the time, are places like Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, those kind of areas. I'd love to travel anywhere I can. It's just, those are big hubs for wrestling currently. I mean, St. Louis, I would love to wrestle in St. Louis, but those guys are tough cookies. And, I'd like to wrestle in Chicago. But the thing with South Texas now is like, now that I've freed up my time wrestling in West Texas, I was wrestling 3 companies in West Texas, Bomb City, Squared Circle Pro, and BCW. A lot of wrestlers get caught doing that sort of thing where they take as many bookings from companies as they can in a state and don't realize that now they're dedicating all their time to this specific area. And no matter if it's a different show, you're getting the same people at all these different shows because wrestling is so saturated. So are you getting exposure in wrestling in different places, or are you wrestling in front of the same 30 to 50 people in a town 45 minutes over every other weekend? That's the kind of thing that I like to tell people about, because I found myself, BCW's in Loveland, which is 30 minutes away from Lubbock. SCP was running in Lubbock, and then Dan runs an hour and a half in Amarillo with Bomb City bar fights. And I was like, I see all of these people at all of these shows. They all follow me on social media. They all already bought merch. They all already support me online, and they like when I come to the show. So the time comes where you need to pick one show, and you stay there, and then you move on with the rest of your time. And I picked Bomb City. I'm going to be staying at Bomb City when I go to West Texas. And if people want to see Logan Knight in West Texas, they can pay Dan the price of general admission.
Fantastic.
And that's sort of the thing you got to go with. Like, it's not about, it's like not picking favorites, and it's not about like, exclusivity, that kind of thing, being like somebody's boy. It's just about, getting the proper exposure and going to the right channels.
Well,
like I'm not going to wrestle in another company in Kansas. I barely consider Fountain City Pro another Kansas company. So
yeah, right.
Like they're Kansas City.
They're right on that verge. Kansas City, Missouri. Missouri's got all the athletic commission stuff, so they hinder on that Kansas side. But Texas is,
and the boys at Fountain City are the boys at Heartland. Yeah. So like it really is like it's what it is.
It's like an extended family almost.
Yeah, Texas is so big that you can get lost there. I came up in Texas, so I was there forever.
And that's the difference with Kansas. You got 2 top shows in Kansas 3 hours apart, and then you have 3 mid-tier shows in West Texas, all competing for the same crowd, and it's just like they're all using the same boys, and some of them are 8 hours away. So it's like, fuck, man, is this worth it? Right. I'm driving 16 hours a weekend for the same stuff.
Right. You got more willpower,
and that's
than
on
I
me.
do.
That's not
sure.
that's not the company at all. That's all on me. Like I put myself in that situation, so you just got to kind of dig yourself out
I
of
get
it
pissed
too.
if I got to drive 30 minutes for something. I'm like, oh hell no. I mean, I drive 45 minutes for Billy. That's it. Like I don't go to Wichita well, okay, it takes about Crumble and Chipotle. So
Yes,
but
sir.
Crumble's
Billy's-
overrated.
no, what? Shut your mouth.
No,
you are not a
no,
real chubby buddy.
Billy.
Shut your mouth.
Crumble is definitely overrated.
Dude, you have to get the right
You
cookie.
just didn't have a good
you have to get the
cookie.
good cookie.
I've had all
Never
kinds
had
of
their-
cookies.
Their peanut butter is out of this world. Peanut butter,
You ain't never had the right
right?
cookie.
Agreed.
Listen, I'm
And
fat. You
have
know
you had
I've
it
tried
hot?
them damn
Have you had it hot?
cookies.
Have you had it hot?
Yeah.
Like right out of the oven? Oh my gosh. This dude's crazy. But no, man, did you have anything else you wanted to ask him?
No, we're good.
Did you want to promote anything before we move on? We're going to move on to a little bit of some hot seat questions for Billy. We're going to learn a little bit more about the training world of things.
Yeah, of course. I don't think I really have anything off the top of my head to promote. I mean, I have my final Oklahoma City date this Saturday, but by the time the podcast releases, I'm already done and retired. My boots, I mean, my shooter shoes are going to be off in the ring because I don't wear boots. No, that's going to be a little bit sad for me. I don't make that decision lightly. I have one more Oklahoma date after this, but with me fighting the commission, it's almost redundant to be putting money into their pocket. So as much as I like Oklahoma and I want to keep trying to make it better, I'm going to keep trying to make it better. Like I'm still going to be working in puppeteering and stuff. I just absolutely refuse to do it under the puppeteering of the commission. Gosh, yeah, no. Oh, I don't know if I can announce it.
Ooh.
Comes out Monday
Oh,
at 5:30.
whatever. I'll let Nick kick my ass at the show. me and Stormy are debuting as only friends at Lucha Libre and Laughs in Denver. So I'm really, really excited for that. That's one of the biggest companies in the Midwest and something I've been trying to do for like 2 years now. And Sydney's got the magic touch. She worked her magic and whew, got the booking to appear. And I'm really looking forward to that. I also have at the end of January the first show of Heartland. That's going to be badass. And then the day after that, me and Stormy have to go to Arkansas for one of Arkansas's first ever like all like queer show. We're having a big old open invitational for their tag titles, and there's going to be a new belt there where it's only defended and challenged by queer people. So they're having like a open gender belt. That's like what it's called.
Nice.
So we're really excited for that. I get to compete for the heavyweight championship and not the open belt, but whatever. Belt schmelt. I'll take whatever. At this
Yeah, can
point.
they watch this stuff live anywhere? Kind of like how HCW does Facebook Live?
I will actually ask them that because I do
Well,
not
I can
know.
tag
This
the
is gonna be
link.
a
I
brand
can
new
tag the
company.
link if that's possible. So you can send me that link if you can. So
I
But I'll
will.
post
Yeah,
that.
so just a bunch of debuts in general. I got the debut for Triple L in Denver, debuting for that Arkansas company. They're called Infinity Pro Wrestling. And then I'm going to be making a return to Diamond State Wrestling at the beginning of January, which is a very fun company in Arkansas. I'm going to be wrestling someone from Memphis Wrestling, so I know it's going to be a little bit of old school with some flair match. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm going to try and make my way to Dallas in January. MPX is holding a show. I'm not booked for it, but I'm still going to show up and show out, try to help out and get my way on the card because I've been trying to wrestle for MPX for years now. So might as well just, put some of my own money aside and go give it a shot. That's one of the things that's going to keep wrestlers from doing the things they do is it's always going to cost them out of their own pocket. And there's not going to be any promise of seeing anything back. And I get that at the end of the day. There's places I won't do that for, certain drives I won't do that for. They're just simply too long. Even though the opportunity is fantastic, some of the drives are just absolutely too long and don't work. Like I was blessed to get the GCW trips. They just lined up perfectly with my schedule and what I was trying to do. And as a professional wrestler and as an adult, first and foremost, you have to learn how to juggle your responsibilities. And
Right.
if you put wrestling at the forefront, the other stuff will figure itself out.
Awesome.
Follow Logan Knight Pro on everything.
Yeah, just send me a
Follow
link.
HCW
Send me your links that
live
you want
on
me
it.
to share on the Facebook video, and I'll post that on the video. So whatever you have or whatever you want me to share, I'll post that on the video. So
I'm still gonna be here putting in my 2 cents. So
All right, yeah. I'm just saying. So, like, just don't forget to send me those links. I hope you stay here. So,
Oh, I will. I will. Yeah.
at this time, I guess we're just gonna ask Billy some training questions. Now, you said that you were trained by Drake, and who's the other trainer down there? You said 2 trainers.
So I originally had a slight little story before Billy gets onto it. I was trying to get trained at Mid-South by Drake in like 2018. And at the time, a guy named Mike Caldwell, or not Mike Caldwell, that was a different promoter, Mike something. I'm not going to full name him so I don't get in trouble. Mike, he owned the company, and I had paid for 3 months of wrestling training after I had gone to my first indie show. I kind of just like was enamored, and they immediately asked me if I wanted to train. I was like, yes, please. Paid for 3 months of wrestling training, never got the wrestling training. I showed up to the shows and basically did ring boy stuff, and then was like told to like leave after I did all my ring stuff. There was never any sort of like bumping, running the ropes, training, none of that good jazz. Like I was barely told that I was allowed to be there. So, it was kind of really just carny stuff. I went to go get training from Brandon Grimm in Bristow, and that was like 2 hours from where I was living at the time, maybe a little bit less. Felt like it though. Got my training from him for about the first 6 or 7 months of that. And then I got dumped into starting my career incredibly too soon at a native company where you didn't need your license. So my own fault there. People don't like to tell people not to do shit in wrestling, which I think needs to stop soon. Everybody has their own come up story. Once I realized that my come up was awful, and everybody else seemed to agree that my wrestling was awful, I was like, I need to get fucking trained. And so I went to Drake, because he was finally like, fine, fuck, I'll train you. And I was like, you're supposed to train me anyways. Like, that kind of thing. It's like, it's supposed to happen a year ago.
Well, hey, I guess let's start off with, first off, how long does training typically last before somebody actually gets sent out there? Is it different for everybody, or is your training a little bit, I guess, pretty cut and dry?
It can really depend. It really depends on athletic ability, how fast they catch on, if they understand what we do, and that's really like, you're never gonna like fully understand just from the training aspect until you're in the ring and working in front of crowds and stuff like that. Yep. I don't like to release my people to start wrestling and traveling for a minimum probably 8 months. There's a few that I will let start doing little stuff here and there, rumbles, little stuff here and there, a little earlier. Ray, I think Chance, when Chance was on here, we talked about how his first match, we were at PCW show in Hutchinson, and Gideon Vane needed an opponent because the opponent he had couldn't make it, and we had nobody else. And I said, hey, I trust this kid to go in there, and I trust Gideon enough to guide him through this match. Someone got a pair of trunks this kid can borrow, and let's throw his ass out there. And so Chance kind of got thrown into the fire early. And then here recently, I threw Michael Maverick into the fire a little early, as we just started this huge faction called the Seventh Seal, and kids catching on quick, stuff like that. So he's jumped in a little quicker than most, but super athletic, has a huge athletic background. But for the most part, 8 months to a year. I tell everybody when they reach out that this is not a 2 to 3 month thing, and then you're going to be wrestling live shows. I've got a standard. I'm a huge. I like clean bumps. Like, if your bumps look like trash, I don't want to put you in a ring. If you don't have like professional looking gear, I don't want to put you in a ring. And then if you can't listen and do what you're told, you're going to struggle. So there's some factors, but usually 8 months to a year.
Okay. So, and you just started a class, is that right? Like less than 2 months ago?
No, I've got a couple younger kids that are running different stuff, but my next class, I've got like 3 people that's hit me up that want to do tryouts. So we actually, training was supposed to be last night, but we're on a Christmas break, so we won't start back until January 8th. I think January 12th or 13th is when I'll have the first couple people coming in to do their tryouts.
Okay. I was just curious because I didn't know if like you had like a curriculum that you try to go off of, or is every situation different? Like when you attack at a training session. So day one, what does a training session look like for somebody? I mean, I remember when you had the ring outside of your house on Osborne.
Right.
Okay. That was like, for me, that was just me going to hang out with a buddy. Okay. So I didn't really get trained. I went up there and I fucked around in a ring. That was it. And it's not a joke. Like you legitimately burn your ass off. Like I mean, and I just was having fun running ropes and taking bumps and stuff like that. That's all I ever did. I wasn't going to do anything else. So kind of give us a rundown of like day one for somebody.
So usually day one is more of a tryout. So they come in, I see kind of their athletic ability. I teach them the proper ways to bump and see if they can understand the bumping aspect, because sometimes people just can't get the fact of bumping, throwing yourself down without trying to catch yourself and stuff like that. I teach them how to roll and I teach them how to run the ropes. And then I try to make them quit. I want to see where your stopping point is. Are you going to keep pushing when you're tired? Are you going to slack off while everybody else is working hard? I want to see all that, because there's times I'm at a point in my training career where I want talented people coming in and not just trying to make money off of kids that are wanting a dream that don't actually have a chance. And that doesn't mean, like, I've had some kids that, some people wouldn't have gave a shot that busted their ass and now they're getting to wrestle. So it's all about their drive and their motivation, honestly.
All right. So this kind of came. Did you have anything to add to that? Like, was your training anything like that when you first actually got the training? Not what you, like, I guess your ring hand, but like when you started training, like, was anything like that very similar with Drake?
Yeah, Groom and Drake both. I mean, Groom is a decorated collegiate athlete as far as wrestling goes. So he knew a lot of the mat work and the actual like physical side of wrestling, that the competing nature of it. And he was able to help me right away with understanding bumping and being safe and moves and stuff like that. I think what a lot of trainers fall into a problem with in training is they get too caught up spending their time in other places. Like oftentimes trainers will find their attention diverted elsewhere, let the class kind of like run itself for a little bit. And it's important to utilize the time that you're given, because most of these people are traveling to get to the training facility, at least in my case. And so when I had to travel an hour and a half or 2 hours just to like kind of like sit around and dick around with the other guys that kind of had the same experience level as me, and I wasn't actually like learning from anybody, it sucked. Thank God I had Derek James there. He was my first tag team partner. He began his wrestling training at 14, and I met him when he was 17 and I was 19. We're now 25 and 23. So he has been wrestling for damn near a decade, and he's been my best friend, my buddy, my partner since the very first day that I started training. And Billy can attest, he in the ring is probably one of the most gifted talents in this entire region of the country. He is very technically sound. He just has some other shit to figure out. I love the kid to death, but if I didn't have Derek and Groom when I first started, there's no way I would have been able to handle my training with Drake. Drake would have bitched me right out of the business.
Well,
so I'm glad I kind of had the precursor, the premonition of what the training was actually going to be like, because I had bits and doses going into it. And once I actually started training with Drake, he was like, okay, so you got a little bit of knowledge, so let's see what you actually know.
Okay.
Yeah, so in mine, like I have a set. Like they come in, they warm up. I have a roll and bump drill that we do every training, and it helps you kind of get in repetition and putting yourself into positions where you need to be for certain stuff. You have to get up the right way. You have to hit the ropes correctly. Like those things are important. Footwork is so underrated in this business right now, and it's such a very like big thing. And if you ever go for a tryout anywhere, the first thing they're going to do is watch your footwork. And if you don't have good footwork on your lockups and on your chain wrestling, they're probably going to quit watching you. So I harp on the footwork. I harp on bumps. I hate when people try to put their arms back. Different stuff like that. So you got to learn to bump clean. You got to learn to hit the ropes right. And then we go into different stuff. You've got to learn how to hip toss and suplex and body slam and drop toe holds. And chain wrestling is super important. It's not enjoyable to watch a lot of times unless people are super good at it, but it is still a fundamental, and you have to have it to move forward.
Okay. And I have nothing to compare it to other than football. And I do know that Randy Dowling hammered into us like every day. We had to do like, it was probably a good 45 minutes of footwork for linemen at least. So, and that is, I think, why our number one thing of being an offensive lineman was why we were so successful, is that he hammered footwork into us. And I think that goes for a lot of sports. If you don't have footwork, you don't have anything. You don't have a good balance or a good foundation for anything. So Drake was on here, episode 1. I don't know if you watched that yet, but he
watched all of them.
Yeah, he sort of talked to us about, like, he gave his, and this will be my last question for Billy. I won't make it too hard for him, but he kind of told us that he was doing like gave them kind of test runs for promos or whatever. Do you have anything like that in your curriculum, not for the promos, but for like crowd work, or do you just have that come naturally, like in a show?
No, so we do different things like promo class. Aaron Helms is really good about doing things with promos. He'll do online kind of little promo challenges, and then really it's about learning to work a hard cam. So you learn to move into positions where you can work a hard cam. You learn that promos are just as important as your wrestling, because that can help get your gimmick over. And if someone's not good at promos, I try to find a way. Maybe I can put them with a manager or put them with someone that is good at that, but might not be as talented in the ring, or maybe they're just so good at the manager side that's what we did. Secret out, Dick Richards was training to be a wrestler, but he was just such a damn good manager.
Well, I mean, it shows at every show. Like he plays that role very, very well. So, no, I think that I'm gonna come back to these later down in our 2025 year, and I want to kind of hit on that at the Bears Den. Can people reach out just to you on Facebook for that
all the time? Yeah, reach out to me on Facebook, either at Billy Simmons, or you can hit up the Heartland Championship Wrestling page, and they'll direct you right to me. I'm reasonable priced. I don't charge an arm and a leg, but it's old school. It's in a barn. It's hot when it's hot, and it's cold when it's cold, and it's how I was trained. And you're gonna work, and there's gonna be times where you run and you hate me, and there's gonna be times you love me. But at the end of the day, you'll damn sure respect me.
Cool. And I don't want to go to that. I mean, that's nothing that I'm interested in. So I did it for fun.
I already inquired, so I have to go.
Yeah.
Well, hey, how about we highlight the 2 shows that took place a total of 2 weeks before our last episode? We had the Red Kettle Rumble, which was a charity event for the Salvation Army here in Wichita. You guys were able to raise $1,800 to give back to the Salvation Army after giving to you when you were off work and everything like that. But I think it was a lot more than that. Just not just for giving you something, but also being able to give people hope. I think they're locally in Wichita and in our area, just to let them have something like they're not forgot about. I think that's the biggest thing.
And it wasn't just me. I got approached, and I reached out to my locker room and I said, "Hey guys, this is what I'd like to do." And they understood that it was a volunteer show, but it was for a good cause and raise money for a good cause. And every person that came out, including our camera guy, donated their time and money and stuff to put on that show that meant so much. And $1,800, I was a little disappointed in. I wanted a little bigger, but that's just me. I'm always going to be that way. But at the end of the day, we gave back to a community that has supported the crap out of Heartland Championship Wrestling this year, and it meant a lot for it.
Yeah, it was an awesome show. I mean, I had a really good time. Even so much so, Daniel even set me up my own little personal table. I didn't have to ask this time. That was awesome.
Oh,
I love it.
Here we go.
Dude, I just like to be organized because if I'm not organized, I'm going to mess up. I'm going to promise you that.
Yeah,
So,
it happens.
But I loved it. But
That was a good time. So let's talk a little bit about that. So we had a few different things. The coming together of the complete faction of the Seventh Seal, where Blade turned on Chance Kerrigan. I think he ended up bloodbathing him 3 different times.
But let's talk about what happened before that. He was just obliterated the entire match.
Well, yeah, he was wrestling 2 monsters in there.
So much so that his wife almost ran out, or his fiance almost ran out, was pissed. She's like, what are you doing? She was mad at you.
Well, I mean,
She's like, how could you set this up?
I just booked the stuff.
Oh, shit. She's like, how could this even happen? But no, it was a wild event.
It was crazy, and the 2 monsters launched Chance in the air, and Blade caught him, bloodbathed him in the middle of the ring, and then stood over him with the belt, so making his intentions clear that that's what he's after.
Jesus. It was insane. So much so that HCW really enjoyed hearing his music when he would hit, and now Blade is just a forgotten about piece of crap, I guess.
I don't know about forgotten, buddy.
I mean...
Listen, rumor has it that he has a certain OnlyFriends that he's after also. So there's a huge faction going right now that is out for any and everybody. So people better be on where.
And that 7th seal is comprised of Blade,
Michael Maverick, Darian
Jekyll, Simon, and KT Lynn.
Correct. So Simon Balasong is the split personality, and Simon's taken over. And I think KT Lynn has something to do with that, as she's at the forefront of everything that's happened here so far. So in my eyes, she's kind of leading that charge with a faction of monsters.
She reminds me of Halle Berry's character in John Wick 3. Like, she releases the dogs.
Ooh. That's pretty good.
That's like when I see them come out together, she's just like, go. And it's like, okay, they only understand her language.
Right.
It's like, all right.
So Logan, you see that big faction coming along, and you see the youngsters coming up and going. Does it worry y'all at all? Like you and Stormy watching your backs at all, or y'all think that there's other eyes that need to be watched before y'all?
As he's sitting there doing origami, he's like, I ain't worried.
Yeah, you guys may be pretty sinister. Like the 7th seal may be pretty sinister, but like I won with Magic last time I wrestled in Wichita.
You did. Well, that's another thing that we need. I kind of want the deets later down the road for that.
Did Kargar get his date?
Yeah, did he?
I can't confirm, actually. I hope. I'm a man of honor.
That was kind of messed up of you.
You know, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, she kind of deserved it. Kargar deserved it for sure.
Like everyone says, Kargar was the winner of that match. Do you agree?
You know, rest of my record looks this year as far as losing all my matches. We as well just lost that.
Man, oh man, what is your record with Heartland?
Oh, that sucks.
I don't think have you won one yet? You have not won an individuals match, but you've won 2 tag teams.
Oh wait, that is actually not true. I have beaten Calvin Aldridge.
Oh, that's right. That was the first show that I actually announced at it. Air Capital Brawl 1, wasn't it?
Yeah, I've beaten Calvin Aldridge, and I've beaten Dutch McClain.
Oh wow!
So 2 victories, and then has OnlyFriends got a win yet?
Yeah.
Yes, we beat the Skill Bandits at the tattoo convention, and we beat Kargar and Ricky. So OnlyFriends is undefeated in Wichita because our original match with Cameron Bernay and Calvin went to a count out.
That's true. That's because them two animals wouldn't quit fighting.
They were some animals. Oh yeah. Yeah, no, Leavenworth, we actually lost to Chocolate Violence in a KWA tag team title match, which, you know what? They're not champions anymore either, so I don't feel too bad.
Ooh.
Every time I hear Cameron Burnett, I cannot get this video out of my head. She gets pelted with like a beach volleyball, and it's like the best timed video I've ever seen. It was just like, did you watch that video? I want that video,
yeah,
just to watch, just like one of those TikTok reels. It's like, oh, and the dude laughing makes it just that much better.
Oh my!
But no, everything else that happened at the show. Another thing that happened, Mr. Kit Reaver is now a full vetted wrestler once again with HCW. After his was that a hardcore match against?
So it was a unsanctioned match. So Kit versus Hector De Oro, and Kit was able to stomp not only Dick Richards but Hector and get the 1-2-3 and get reinstated. Then turned around and won the Rumble for that
Out of Luck Championship.
Out of Luck title.
And then what else happened at that show was besides the turn of Blade. Man, it feels like it was like 2 months ago, but it was just less than a month ago. What else happened at that show? I know I'm missing. There was something big that happened. Oh, Hector had to give up his title for Chocolate Violence to have their tag team match against
Did you hear that,
ACFC.
Logan? So Dick Richards forced Hector De Oro to turn his title over for Chocolate Violence to get a rematch with ACFC.
I was wondering about that because I missed one show in Wichita and show up in Leavenworth, and all of a sudden I'm wrestling for the Out of Luck Championship against Kit Reaver. I was like, well, how the hell did we get here?
Yeah, it was crazy. I don't think neither Chocolate Violence or Hector was happy about the situation. And Dick Richards' plan that he said he had in place don't seem like it went very well for him.
The only thing he had going in that show is that he was on the side of Blade. Like, he agreed with what Blade did to Chance. So that's really the only thing that went for him at that show.
Interesting. So let's talk a little about Leavenworth. I know you weren't there, but both me and Logan were there. And
I was there in heart and soul and by eyes. I watched a few of the... I first want to say Mindy Grace did an amazing job announcing. Like, she could steal that job. Like, I don't even need it to this point after her getting that crowd going.
But Grace did do a fantastic job, and then Logan was there, and he faced Kit Reaver. We talked about that just a little bit ago. There was a Christmas hardcore invitational that Matt Stockdale walked out victorious on. Some big names in that match, and the newcomer Matt was able to get the victory by chokeslamming Paradox through a table and getting the 1-2-3.
Did you say new?
Matt's pretty new to the business itself, and real new to Heartland. Like, he just came around.
Maybe
this
it's his
year.
demeanor that I get that he's been in it for like ever, and you guys just talk highly of him.
Yeah, Matt does a decent job, and he's big as crap. Like,
that ain't no
he
lie.
towers over everyone. He's just a huge individual. So
did who else had a big match other than the Out of Luck title, but also the First City title?
So there was we had the tournament for the First City Championship, and Handgun Dan defeated Darian Jekyll and no, I'm wrong on that. Anyways, Handgun Dan won a triple threat to move on to the finals, and then Bennett James won his triple threat to move on to the finals. And Handgun Dan came victorious and became the first ever First City champion of Leavenworth.
And didn't you find that title in a freezer? Is that what I saw?
Dan took a picture with that title in the freezer.
Wow!
Oh my god, dude! Dan is
with his juice. What weirdo puts juice in a? Was he just trying to get it cold, or was he freezing his juice?
I don't know. It wasn't
That's
my
wild.
room.
Man, I thought that was you that posted that. I didn't realize that you had just shared the photo. I was like, did you find that?
No, Dan that posted it, and I shared it. I was like, that's incredible.
In the freezer.
In the freezer.
And then Chance Kerrigan defended his title. And then we had the team of the Big Dogs. They faced ACFC and Jose Gerardo.
That's right. Okay.
Very fun.
I caught the end of that.
Very fun 6-man tag match.
Okay. Who came out with? I didn't see who.
ACFC won the match. Actually, Jose hit the frog splash for the 1-2-3.
Wow, that dude gets some air when he gets up on there. I'm just saying. What else happened?
The match that I think should get some more love at Leavenworth was Gavin Bush and Remington.
I agree. Gavin Bush is such an up-and-coming young man. He thinks he's prettier than everybody, but he fought a mountain of a man in Remington Roar.
Speaking of Gavin, that dude took some massive chops in the Rumble.
Too many.
A lot between.
I love watching Gavin wrestle right now because Gavin, in a sense, is going through the same kind of startup I had when I first came to Billy, of working a bunch of these multi-mans and getting the sprinkle of like, here's the bone, and the bone being Remington Roar. I remember when I got my first bone at XWE, it was Remington Roar and Kuda in a multi-man match. So I was like, okay.
We had a few HEW people make their first appearance at the Red Kettle Rumble too, didn't we? Like several that I announced. You had it wasn't Kuda, it was the other guy that for the Rumble he came out and helped out. Who did he come out and help out? The Jekyll. Not Darian Jekyll, but the dude that had the preacher walking with him.
Oh yeah, so we had WWX.
Sorry, I wasn't trying to step over you. I just
WWX stars showed up with us. So Flex Reed and Drasic and that no good preacher. But going back to Leavenworth, Remington had a very good match, solid match with Gavin Bush. Up and coming youngster who is just going to get better and better as he comes along. Logan, you remember any of the other matches? What you know how my memory is.
Well, you had also Heidi Howitzer made her return to the Rumble.
You're mixing both shows now.
Oh, my bad. I thought you were asking about that show.
No, we're talking about up at Leavenworth.
My bad.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think there's any other matches, but that triple threat with Hector and Big Boy in the 7th seal.
Yeah, so it was Hector, it was Bennett James, and it was Darian Jekyll.
I've been saying for like 4 or 5 months now, I need Darian Jekyll and Hector De Oro and a big old meaty man.
Meat Madness match again?
Meat Madness 2.
Yes.
No, but what I did catch of the show, or what I was able to catch of the show, the Leavenworth show was pretty awesome. I mean, you didn't see the number of the crowd that was there, but you could hear them.
Yeah, it was a
free show.
It was a free show, so there was a decent crowd. Leavenworth is just hard.
Very secluded.
It's such a unique town, but we have such a good time. So we locked down 6 dates for next year, and we're going to continue to push and have a good time and do our thing.
I think it's going to be a lot easier now that I think you're running the day right after Fountain City Pro. So a couple of your kids, wink, wink, are going to be handing out flyers and stuff the night before.
Yeah, and I can't talk enough about the fact that Fountain City Pro, side by side stands with us. They let us put flyers out when they run the day before us, and I really try to help push us. So I'm trying to get better in the area and continue to work.
And I must say, I really enjoyed the commentary at this one too. At the Leavenworth, they click very good together. Both Fountain City, isn't he a partial owner?
Yeah, so
Chase
is definitely owner.
And then Jeff. I think they pair very well together when they're on mics together. So it sounds really good.
Well, let's get away from the shows. What do you got left for us, Bobby?
Well, let's talk about the next shows coming up. January 25th is the first show of 2025 for HCW. So that's going to be Is that New Year's Mayhem? Is that right?
I believe so. We haven't really sat down and done too much. It's Christmas holiday.
Yep.
I'm not focusing on wrestling. I'm relaxing and staying away from everything right now. Flyers finishing up right now and will be out shortly, but my mind's away from wrestling at the moment.
Okay.
So I don't know too much of what we're going to do for January yet, but by the next podcast, we'll probably have a pretty good lineup.
And I think we'll have to push the next podcast back because you will be traveling to Florida for Christmas, right?
I am. So my little brother and my mom and dad moved to Florida, and my youngest daughter's 16th birthday is the 29th, and we're gonna drive down to Florida. My oldest and her fiance is driving down, gonna meet us here, and then we're gonna shoot down to Florida. We get to stop in Arkansas, and so my older sister lives in Little Rock, Arkansas. So we're gonna stop and
Little
see
Rock's
her,
actually beautiful.
and then shoot the rest of the way down to Pensac.
He lives in crap.
That's what I was gonna say.
It just tagged us in it.
Anyways, we're gonna shoot down to Florida and see my family and
Naples.
That's it. And have a good time and get away from this cold for a little bit.
I don't mind the cold. I'd rather sleep in cold than heat any day of the week.
I mean, yeah, for sleep, but I ain't gotta be sleeping and walk outside.
Little girl. Anyway, but no, what do you got going on for Christmas, Logan?
I think I just have like one family thing planned next weekend, and other than that, I'm like off work, so I'm probably just gonna enjoy my sanity I get for 24 hours. Right back to the hustle and grind. And the fun thing about that is I have to stop my workout regimen too on those days because I work at the gym and they're going to be closed.
Okay. I was wondering, was it because you were doing that 75 hard there for a while too, weren't you?
I was. I wanted to do it again to end the year, but when I started, I have been injured from like May to, I want to say like the beginning of September, maybe mid-September. I had hyperextended my knee in February, and then I thought it was like fine because it really wasn't that bad. It went away in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. But then I did it again in May to the same exact knee, and it was way fucking worse this time. Didn't need surgery, thankfully. Shout out to my crazy X-Men healing factor. Yeah, so I was hurt for most of the summer, and that's partially why I did all that traveling. But well, when I came back in September, I had got down from 255 to 205 in the matter of like 3 months from that 75 hard. So I was really, really happy about that. But at the same time, after I got hurt, I couldn't like go work out and burn the calories like I was because of my leg. So I couldn't really do any sort of cardio, and burning weights, lifting weights, it's going to take a lot longer than cardio. But I finally got into the swing of things probably at the beginning of November. I've been going 5 days a week since the beginning of November. And then actually this week it was like more like 4 days a week at the beginning of November. And then this last 2 weeks is when I started doing 5 days a week. And now starting Monday, I'm like on this like dead set regimen. I got this smartwatch for Christmas from my dad. Shout out Papa Knight. He got me the smartwatch, and it counts like all of my resting metabolic rate and all the calories I burn throughout the day. So that way I can get this down to a science and figure out why I still have a beer gut, even though I don't drink it. Because I'm eating really, really healthy, and I'm in the gym.
Me neither.
For damn near 2 hours a day. So like,
good.
I'm just impatient, just like everybody else is. Like I've been working out for like 6-7 weeks straight, and I'm still the same weight, which is 220. I'm like a flat 220 right now. I want to get down to 200 by my birthday at the end of February. So hoping for that, but we'll see how it goes.
Since like 9th grade, man. Like
that's what I'm saying. When I hit 205 at the end of the 75 hard, that was probably the lowest I've been since my junior year in high school. So I was pretty proud, and then I lost it immediately. So I'm trying desperately to get it.
When it comes to dieting, the only one that looks appealing is that carnivore diet minus the cost of what it costs to buy all that red meat. It's like, oh man, that looks delicious, but I couldn't pay for that.
Listen,
No.
I've been over 3 bills since 7th grade.
For real?
For real.
Oh wow, you wear it well.
Appreciate that.
I've just never been real cut or had abs in my life, and like in this business, it's like I always got I got told by Fuego real early at a seminar that there's like 3 or 4 things that you can achieve as a professional wrestler that'll guarantee get you a spot at the next level, and one of them's a good character, one of them's good in-ring work, one of them's a good look, and then the other is promo. And I'd like to say I'm a pretty good promo. I've gotten the ring work to where people don't walk out of the building. And, I think the next step is to get this body looking like $1 million, because I would love $1 million.
That's the bad thing, though. Like, I was in shape. Like, Billy can account for that. I used to be in pretty good shape, but like I burned myself out on like the whole like getting so strict on my diet to where I don't want to eat any of the good healthy foods. It's like, nah, I'd rather have a fried piece of chicken, man, or a very thick ribeye with bacon wrapped around it, and then some like potatoes.
I still eat pretty decent. There's ways to like bat around it. Like right now, I'm trying to do high protein, really low carb, and low fat, and it's a learning curve. You got to learn all this stuff, especially if you weren't taught it like outright in school. And thank God for Remington Orr. He's been like my personal trainer go-to for the last like year or so. Any sort of move I've made physically or in the gym has been thanks to Remington. So I'm just gonna keep at it and keep trying. I have it pretty locked down right now. I just have to stay away from those extra carbs when I can. There's extra carbs creeping up at me at the end of my day before I go to sleep. It always, catches me up. But it's small stuff like that. Now that I have this thing tracking my every movement, it'll be a lot easier to just nail this down scientifically instead of letting my ass run willy-nilly. I need like an ankle monitor. I need an ankle monitor that shouts like, hey, don't eat that.
It'd be screaming at me all
You're
the
not
time.
hungry, you're bored.
That'll be Remington
You're not
Orr. You
hungry,
can
you're
always have him
bored.
just chop you every time he sees you after you've eaten something bad.
That'd be helpful. You're not hungry, you're bored. Chop.
Ouch.
But no, I do also want to kind of highlight something before we go. I want to say thank you for not reaching out, but like every time it shows, like you're like one of the first guys that I get to shake their hand, but also you were the first one to kind of say that you were happy to see this kind of come about, Bumping Chops itself. So kind of got my hopes up. I mean, I'm not a wrestling fanatic by any means, but like I've always wanted to help out any of my friends the way I can, and I enjoy doing this, but I also have met so many more people doing this with you. So I want to say thank you to you also.
Of course.
It's not a problem, man. Like this has been one of my favorite listening experiences for the last couple of months because we get to listen to like all the people we know, but don't like get to hear all this nitty gritty sometimes because not all of us make it to the bar afterwards and hear all this sort of thing. And so it's nice to get in-depth personal opinions of your coworkers' experiences, like through their own eyes, because like I have my idea of Ray Liotta, I have my idea of Chance Kerrigan, I have my idea of Drake Gallows, but I'd love to know what they think of themselves. And it's nice to kind of dig into that kind of thing. The scene needs it because, I mean, regardless of what the view count may be, like new people get to see this and new people get to see people in Kansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, Midwest wrestling in general. And it's helpful.
Well, having guests on is the view count just continues to go up. Now, the comments, I wish the comments were coming in more questions for you. So like if you are listening to this, make sure you drop questions for Logan or Billy. So, I mean, that's what I've really wanted to push. But, I mean, not everybody listens and watches the videos. They want to listen and drive or something. And that's usually how I handle podcasts too. I don't think I've ever commented on a podcast. So I'm not going to be a hypocrite and say comment on the damn podcast. Like,
and I think a little bit of that has to do with we've never went live for a podcast. It's always the tape thing and then going there. So maybe it's something we look at for next year is maybe trying to go live and
we need that Red James takeover, huh?
Get the Red James. If he decides to come back, maybe we'll look at that. But right now, he's I think happily retired for a little bit.
Wink, wink.
So, maybe we look at going live once or twice next year and see what happens on that aspect.
That'll be fun.
Logan, we appreciate you coming on, man. It's been a joy. I'm glad to hear a little more insight on your thoughts and your processes on stuff, how OnlyFriends came about, and you know, your aspirations. You keep pushing, you keep working hard. I'm proud of you for that. And continue to do your thing. Don't let anyone discourage you. I tell everybody the hardest thing in this business is not to hate professional wrestling. Remember that you got into this because you love it so much. Don't let the negative of it destroy that.
I won't, Billy. Thank you, man. I appreciate getting on the podcast today. And you're the number one. You're the number one giver of my opportunities in the last couple of years, and I appreciate you. Every not to be a kiss ass, but every day I get to know you is a better one, man. Thank you for being here.
Appreciate that.
It was awesome to get to know you. Did you want to kind of send them off?
Well, everybody, you have officially been chopped with Bumpin' Chops.
Later.
Later.
We will show from the top row to the depths below. The warriors in the ring, we've nowhere to go. Blood, sweat, and tears, it's a battle of the wills. We bring the heart to the heartland. Heart to the heartland. Turn the volume up, they can hear from hell. Everyone's ready, so let's ring the bell. Ding, 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 let's start the clock. HVW.